je vais parler de this absurd idea that if I retired early, maybe I should do the air quotes retire, okay? Won't I get bored? I mean, how will one fill their days? Oh, what a philosophical question. Oh boy, let's get to it then. Hey, Zampak here. Another day not working for the man. Oh man, I'm so happy that it's kind of hard to fathom. I mean, I don't know. I still rant about whatever subjects like I'm going to do right now. So maybe the happiness part doesn't come across so easily. I mean, I'm as happy as a cynic can be, I think, okay? So that's probably why when I see questions about how to fill the days post-fire on the fire groups of the world, it kind of irks me, right? So let me read this specific question that made me want to talk about this subject. This is from a lady in the Facebook fire group, okay? The question is, once in fire, what do you do with your day-to-day life? Yes, perhaps the first 2 years of traveling and doing all you wanted to do, but then how else do you fill your days? My hubby and I are about 3 years from fire and still on the younger side, but I have to think about the long term. I do find meaning in job productivity too. Maybe coach my son's volleyball team, grow a garden and blog about that, work part-time at Starbucks, have one and operate an Airbnb home, look forward to grandparenthood? End quote. Actually, I shouldn't give this lady a hard time, okay? It's a reasonable question given the context of a work-heavy culture like the one in the US, right? So I'll break it down and give some suggestions on exactly what to do and whether these are types of things that really need a lot of pre-planning, like before you get to the retirement part, right? I'll add the pre-planning part because there are tons of articles out there about the regular old age retirees having a hard time once they do retire from their jobs and have no sense of what to do next, right? I think that's why this lady's asking. And frankly, I want to expose how for early retirees, it's actually a totally different ballgame, right? Oh, comment, like, and subscribe on all that social media buzzwordy nonsense or whatever you want. Okay, I'll be great regardless. So number one, well, if you already got to fire, you'll probably spend at least some of your day-to-day lives managing your own investments, okay? Stock and real estate or other alternatives that you got. Because now that's your whole source of income, isn't it? So best not to hand it off to somebody else, I'd say. At least until you hit 9 figures. I mean, look, if you as an early retiree is worth like 100 mil or more, sure, get a money guy to help with that level of complexity. But for most early retirees with a regular stash, manage it yourself. It shouldn't take too much daily hand-holding, maybe only monthly or more likely only quarterly or annually, actually, okay? The reality is, though, once you are post-fire, you have more time to learn a bit more about all the assets you have and may want to get into still. So if the subject actually interests you, cannot hurt to get into the weeds further, okay? So this aspect of how we spend our time post-fire doesn't really need to be planned for prior because, well, this is how most people will get to fire to begin with, okay? Without investments, if you were just storing your savings in your mattress, oh boy. If that was the case, I think the only way that you can do that and achieve fire is if you're a drug dealer, okay, basically. So yeah, managing your investment is one of those things that you were already doing and now can do even better. And you can devote, well, you probably have to devote a minimum of time on the subject. But however much more to the subject as you really want. There's really no ceiling here. So from a few hours a month to becoming a real subject matter expert. Heck, I mean, I spend more on this subject because I make these clips, but I know I wouldn't consider myself an expert quite yet, right? And I definitely do more than even most early retirees, right? Number two, you can work on your hobbies, the kind of things that you enjoy but never seem to have time for when having a regular gig. For me, that's cooking and reading and gaming and watching tons of junky superhero or supernatural TV shows on the internet, okay? So yeah, I'm like half couch potato. Maybe you don't think it's that exciting, but you can do whatever you want now, okay? Whatever you want. Maybe foster kittens, maybe learn to play a new sport or whatever, seriously. I do not actually think hobbies needs to plan in advance either. This is a category of stuff that should come naturally to anybody who wants to, have fun, okay? Whatever is fun to you. Maybe crocheting, maybe a walking tour of your entire city over a long period of time, maybe chase butterflies around like when you were a kid. I mean, seriously, sometimes I feel like we adults have lost all sense of wonder in life, right? And people have really bought into this idea that work is the only thing the only way we provide values in the world. I mean, hey, work is important, but for early retirees, we've already done as much, if not more, productive work than most people could have contributed to in a lifetime. So I do not feel bad that now I just do things for fun, right? Like making these clips. Heck, making YouTube clips cost me mental effort, time, and a tiny bit of materials in terms of camera and hard drives. So I must do them because I find that somewhat amusing, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't do them because I certainly don't make any money from these. So ask yourself this question: if you can't decide something that you want to do is a hobby or not, okay? And that is, would you do this activity even if nobody paid you for it? Okay? If you would, then I think it counts as a hobby rather than work. And I hope every single person can easily think up of a few things, a handful of things that they like to do that perhaps don't have any immediate monetary impact in sight. And finally, okay, point number 3. I'm not gonna, ignore side-ish hustles, right? I want to add this category simply because the lady's question mentioned, would somebody work part-time at a Starbucks or operate an Airbnb home? Okay, both of which seems like actual work to me. So the thing is, I gotta ask, have you always dreamt about being a Starbucks barista? I mean, maybe the appeal is simply to meet fellow coffee aficionados in your neighborhood, or in the case of being an Airbnb host, are you thinking about doing that purely for the sake of meeting visitors from all over the world or the country? Are you doing either for the money or just to take up time? I'd suggest that if it's for passion, then go for it, right? Now, if it's just to take up time, then you're not really retired, are you? Look, I'm certainly not one to say, now that you're fired, you cannot make any more money anymore. That is a ridiculous argument, okay? You can definitely start enterprises that will make money. My only caveat is that money shouldn't be the driving or main force behind that endeavor. Unless, of course, you're the kind of person that just loves making money for money's sake. I mean, personally, I'd find that a little sad, but we're all different, right? Now, right now, I know for myself, I still want to buy wifey a vineyard, and a vineyard is not cheap. So sure, I have long-term monetary goals yet. The only difference is I no longer need that goal to be the sole driving goal of life like it was when my life was about leading towards fire, right? This might be the only category if someone's driven to make more money post-fire. Sure, a little bit of pre-planning would help, I say. Look, at the end of the day, I know early retirees will be fine, okay? I mean, this is a group who have chopped off years at the least, if not decades, off of a career through determination and grit and a tough mentality, right? So do I really think this group will all of a sudden be stomped by the existential question of having too much time on their hands? The reality is, of course, worst case, okay, you can always go just get another job if you really don't know what to do with yourselves, right? No shame in that. But I'd wager for this group of go-getters, right? Figuring out what to do next is likely much easier than how to make a lifetime of income in a decade or more or less time. Agree, disagree? I'm always open to different opinions, right? Hit me up in the comments as to your dreams and aspirations in a post-fire state. Okay, cheers. À la prochaine.